Hey, welcome to the second course video for the song Rinne, or Reincarnation, from BAND-MAID and their 2019 album Conqueror. I'm musically malnourished, and you're on my journey to go deep and wide in discovering new music and artists. In these videos, we do a deep dive into the lyrics and meaning behind the music. So let's get in, see what's going on. All right, I actually wanted to start here because I looked up the pronunciation. I didn't want to get it wrong. I probably would have said Rhine. It's Rin. It primarily means the Buddhist concept of samsara, the endless cycle of death and rebirth, obviously reincarnation. Has origins in Finnish as slope or song or melody, German for stream channel, and appears in contexts like the Rinne test for hearing, named after a German doctor. Interesting. But in Japanese, the core meaning is samsara, a continuous cycle of reincarnation driven by karma with the goal of breaking free from it for enlightenment. Okay, let's get in. Check this out. Rinne confronts the brutal neutrality of the world. It strips away comfort, heroism, and moral fantasy, asking what remains when effort doesn't save anything and honestly isn't rewarded. That's true at times. Life appears, disappears, falls, and repeats, a negative cycle of reincarnation driven by excess emotion, resentment, and theft masked as justice. The song refuses false hope. Instead, it demands awareness. Open your eyes, close them, break the clock, distort the gears. Do something to interrupt the cycle. Even meaningless action has more weight than passive repetition. Interesting. All right, taking my time, we surface, vanish, then fall. A negative reincarnation, left behind, looping endlessly. So obviously, I think the idea of reincarnation, the hope would be that it's a positive thing. Even if you just talk about cycles in life, not like living another life, but even within life, things die and come back again. There is this cycle of reincarnation, even just of yourself. So this negative reincarnation would mean like not going in the right direction, right? This looping endlessly. An overloaded mind turns bitter. Bitter turns into stealing from one another. What is any of this for? Seeing through half-transparent secrets. No more. Stupid. Open your eyes. Even if your breath stops, the world won't change. I know. Then it can't end like this. Even meaningless mistakes can warp the gears. I guess in the idea of like breaking these cycles, the second hand never stops. So that ties into the time. Get down. That's enough. It won't unravel. It won't wake up. Life splits, multiplies, rolls, and keeps rolling. Anywhere farther away. Go far away. I should zip my lips, spill this unease from my heart. So like I should open up and say something about this. I'll leave it up to you. I thought I heard your voice. I wonder if she's saying in this sense like maybe you took her advice or you were moved to do this. Begin to speak, begin to spill your unease. I don't know. Close your eyes. Even if the dream ends, no one is coming to save you. I know. I can't sleep like this. Justice repeated day after day creates nothing when it's imitation. So something false. You know. Smash the ticking second hand. Get down. Reincarnation, living and dying. Reincarnation, living and dying. Why? What do you live for? Which is interesting because this idea of reincarnate living, it's like, what do you live for? So why go through this cycle unless you know what you're living for? Even if you raise your voice, which I think is interesting too, if you take it into the idea of kind of dying to self and in a reincarnation and continuing to do that cycle as a person. If you don't have a goal in mind or something you're trying to achieve, and it doesn't have to be like some exterior goal, it just could be interior as well, growing as a person, having that understanding of, well, what am I living for? Who am I trying to become? Because if you don't have that, there's no feeling or need of this cycle in your life. Even if you raise your voice, the world can't save anything. Honesty does not pay. That makes no sense. Open your eyes. Even if your breath stops, the world won't change. I know, then it can't end like this. Break free. Get down. It's sink or swim. Shut up. Not spiritual rebirth, an endless psychological loop. Negative cycle, progress without meaning, movement without growth. Gears and clocks, systems of time, labor, morality, rigid unless forcibly broken. Justice as imitation, a moral repetition without thought produces nothing new, for sure. Or it becomes this false justice, right? Even meaningless errors, action matters more than perfection. That's true. I mean, be wise in your actions, but you'll never be perfect in them. And so many people like don't take steps forward, don't act, don't make changes because they're like, oh, I'm not going to get it right. And it's like, do the work up front, right? More sweat in the prep, less blood in the battle. But eventually you got to step into battle. You got to move forward, and you're going to make mistakes. Take those actions, learn from them, reiterate. Shut up. A rejection of excuses, noise, and hollow ideology. Well, very good. The music video for this is over on Patreon as well. But that wraps up our time in Conqueror. And then we move on to the next one, which I believe is Unseen World. So I know many of you really love that album. I'm looking forward to it as well. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Thanks for being with me for this one. I'll see you in the next one, because we're eating good.